Roll call, please.
Yep. Arbaugh present, Gallops, Billy Hutton, Hillary, Haley Hutton,
No.
Terry Robita, John Split,
Here?
and Sarah Willett.
Present.
Okay, we do have a quorum.
So we do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do.
It's kind of nice to have 3 rather than 4 anyway. Bonjour.
Sorry.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Good.
Next would be approval of tonight's agenda. We have a amended agenda in front of us.
I motion to approve.
Motion by Sarah,
Second that?
second by Billy to approve tonight's amended agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of last month's meeting minutes.
Do you guys need a copy? Hi.
I make the motion to accept.
Motion by Billy, second by Sarah to approve last month's meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're at the problem again of the financial.
What'd you
I
find
guess-
out?
We still have the money, but
It's in there.
I'm not getting it, I didn't get it from Karen. I thought I sent the email, but I don't know if I did, that we need the financial report.
Is it the same as last month's, basically?
It would be, we have not, since last
We didn't do
year,
it.
we haven't spent anything, when we gave the money to the,
107,000 if I, in the last time I reviewed.
how much?
107.
7.
We only have like 3 grand.
We
So-
have, we got last year's budget, we received 2,000, and then there was
We
like
spent
1,000
money.
something. So I'm guessing there is about $3,000 in our budget.
So is it just because Karen forgot to enclose it, but you know for sure that they did give us some money for
Yes.
2022?
Yes,
Okay.
that was approved.
Well, the only out was for the Eagles.
Yes,
The project-
and that was last year.
Yeah, yeah.
But I,
We don't spend much money in.
no, we don't. Yes.
Do you have the figures in an email at all?
I don't, no.
How do we vote on it if we don't have it in front of us?
You don't have to vote on it.
We don't, yeah.
We just acknowledge it?
We just don't.
Just blame it on me that I didn't get it from Karen.
Wait till you see my minutes.
You just don't act on it.
Okay.
And the last time, yes, there was 103,000, but that was a separate report. So we'll get you something next month or whenever you meet next.
Okay. Thank you.
But you
Adam.
don't have a ton of money.
Then we won't spend the last one.
Oh, no, we won't spend any tonight.
That's not, all- that 103 isn't all ours.
No.
Okay, we'll move on to public comments. Is there anybody for public comments? No. We will go to certificate of appropriateness applications, and we do have one for 205 Watson Street. And the application is for, project description is Patina V logo, 2 front windows, 48 inches by 48 inches of a matte metallic gold lettering and a logo. And I do have pictures. I think I gave one to just about everybody's got one, I
Building or your
believe.
same?
It's the building, it's 209, so it's right next to our current utility building.
Have you seen it or?
Up.
Okay.
It's
Down the street?
Yes, it's one store to the south.
Okay.
It's- It was Thrive Financial for the last
Oh,
years. But it's actually all part of the original building.
Is it?
Yes, so we're just,
Well, congratulations.
hey, thank you.
That's pretty darn cool.
We're super excited.
I bet.
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without our community support, truly. Would never have thought this was gonna happen a few years ago.
That's great.
So we're, thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
good to know. Oh,
We're putting in a passageway through the interior wall. And because of our current building on the corner, we've got the mullions on the windows. I've never had a chance to do a cool logo in the windows. It would be my chance to
Yeah.
get a little flashy.
So that was Thrivent, right?
Correct.
Okay. Gotcha. This is simply for the decal.
It's just for the decal. Just wanted to make sure I was,
I move to accept it. It looks great to me. The color, the size, all should be good.
thank
go
you.
with you. I don't have that copy.
This is the
Oh, the size.
size, yeah.
Like it. Partial to go anyway.
I think it would be, it'll look nice.
Great.
So, we could entertain a motion?
I already did.
Oh, I didn't hear. Kathy Lee, there's a motion from Kathy Lee
Yep.
to approve the application at 205 Watson Street.
Second that.
Second by Billy. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Well, there's one abstain.
That's right.
Sarah?
Yes, I'll abstain.
She can't.
She can't.
That's right.
Conflict of interest.
Kathy Lee, did you get the abstain?
I sure did, thanks.
Thank you. Motion carries and is approved.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll
Thank
put it
you.
on the council agenda for Tuesday night.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you need to go on the council? Do I need to come and present?
No,
Or can I
it's,
do this?
they just, John, she doesn't need to come to present to the council, right? It just usually gets approved.
Any what?
The council, it gets approved at the
It gets
council.
approved, yeah.
There's no problem.
It's on the,
Consent calendar.
yes, that's what it is on, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. We can go to the review of the design guidelines. And I think we left off, we had a discussion on signs.
What page is it on, John? What page number?
27.
We were
This is
gonna
signs and
revisit the
graphics.
signs. I think.
Order to the signs, and we've been approving, most of them are 6 square feet. I did find out from Sue Leahy, we can go as large as 9 square feet.
3 by 3.
3, yeah.
Oh, okay, so okay.
But, you know, I don't know if anybody wants one that big. And in the projecting sign on page 29, it did say it shall not exceed 9 square feet, so that was correct.
Okay. So we were right all along.
We were right all along, and when people were coming to us with a 6 square foot sign, it was perfectly fine. Yeah,
What page was that on, Dudes?
That's on
29.
29.
Thank you.
Winona sign.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Yes.
I've been going to some meetings about historical or historic preservation, and we are kind of right in the middle with our peers in Wisconsin. There's several historic preservation committees that are just totally entrenched in the preservation, and they have all these things I've never even heard of, rules and different things. But then there's a whole lot of people who've not even written a design line or a design guideline yet. so we're kind of in the middle. And is it Jason Tish?
Yes, I think it is from the
Jason,
state.
he said to, the group on the webinar, consider filling out a form to get a grant to rewrite ours. Because we could get someone involved that really could spank up our wording and, just get it a little bit cleaner. What do you guys think? I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, we could have a discussion on that. I don't know.
I think that's the, I don't remember the name of the grant. Because Ripon is a certified preservation commission where Ripon is eligible for a pool of money. I just don't remember what that, it's for like planning activities through the Wisconsin State Historic Society. I'm thinking that's the grant that the person was referring to.
Yeah. Should I call you to find out where to look?
Oh, geez.
Or should I just look?
Yeah.
Do we feel we need it then? Are we in the consensus that we need to rewrite this?
I think we do, based on everything we found in our first meeting. We talked about changing the layout where we would have bullet points at the top for really important things that everybody wants to find quickly, under signs and windows and whatever. And then a true guideline would give an explanation of how this came about in the town. There was like 3 different things. Oh, sorry.
When we do that, do we have to put a revision into this, or do we have to rewrite it?
We probably would rewrite, and it would just be this one would be outdated, and it would just be an updated new version of it.
I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to put my fingers on it.
I'm all for it, and I like the thought that we had it, that I know where Kathy Lee's going with that. So if there's a new owner of a store or something, we can give them this design guidelines, and like you said, the most important things are on the first 2 or 3 pages, and then it goes down from there.
And then Adam showed me how to find our town ordinance or city ordinance. That is really like perfect. It says everything. It is more wordy. So I think this is probably the thing that we should send them, but we should let them know about that link.
Yeah, sure.
And then they recommended, if not realtors, town water or electric or some sort of a utility person, including to anyone new, that they are in a historic district, if they are. And in addition to the realtor. Because I'm telling you, no realtor told us. It was 7
Right.
years ago, but we don't care because we think it's cool,
Yeah.
but not everybody does.
Right. And that's the reason that we're locally designated, and it's recorded at the Register of Deeds in Fond du Lac County. There's supposed to be
This is the grant.
He's got it.
What?
This is the grant.
Oh, that's the grant.
Oh, you just blow my mind.
It's the computer.
What did you put in? Like what's?
It's a historic preservation fund, some grants for certified local governments. There's a letter of intent due by August 15th of this year, and an application's due for 2023 funding cycle. Planning documents such as historic preservation plans and design guidelines for local historic properties.
Would you
That's perfect.
send me the link, Adam?
I will try.
You're cool. I can't do any of this. That's why I'm amazed by him.
There's Google. So,
Tell me what it is. I'll just write it down.
it's the Historic Preservation Fund subgrants for certified local governments.
That whole thing is on the URL?
It's on the.
The state
Wisconsin-
website.
It's on the Historical Society.
Historical
Yeah.
Society.
Okay.
I'll send you a link too.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I think we could do with upgrading,
Yeah, I'd say,
more professional.
let's go for the grant, and we get the grant, then we can,
Yeah.
whatever the next step is, if that,
I mean, otherwise
Person helps
it's
us,
Karen,
or-
right? Who'd have to redo all this?
No, I mean, it'd be probably Craig and I. Or we'd have to find a way to do it. And I think from the standpoint of this exercise, just reading through the manual first and foremost, the ordinance as well is very important. Reading through it, understanding it is the first step. Getting something like this would be, if you want to change it, probably the easiest way to do it if we can get it funded, because this is going to take forever. And we may wait for a while to apply to get this, but at least then it sort of gets done.
And priority rather than when we get to it.
Because, yeah, I mean, and I don't know if, Craig's got plenty of time to rewrite it. I'm sure.
My spare time.
You know, if we're if it's a competitive, I don't know if Craig, we've gotten this before. I don't know if,
Yeah, we received a grant 15 years ago. It's back when, I think, George Miller and Jack Steinbring were on the
Okay.
commission. So
Sure.
it's been a while since we've applied.
Yeah, that's 15 years, you said? That's pretty good.
Maybe even longer, yeah.
But we're gonna obviously have to provide a handhold to whoever it is that is coordinating it. You know, we just can't hand them a
give
big.
it, right.
And
Oh, there will be a lot of involved, absolutely. Mhm. Well, first of all, we even have to find someone, so I agree with you.
It's gonna be time intensive regardless. And I'm glad you're up for it, Adam. Thank you for volunteering
to what?
to lead all of this.
Oh, well,
Do they
a letter of intent is simple enough, I think, in
Yeah.
an application. I don't know how,
I can do that, if you don't want to.
Do they have people, I know like when do they have people that go around to different cities after we would get the grant, just say we got the grant, are there people that would come into our city and help us rewrite this then? Are there people like that?
Well, I can
Or would
ask.
it be put on our shoulders or?
Well, that's what we're saying, we
Yeah.
probably have to get an outside person.
yeah, the grant, I want to say it has a max
50,000.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
How much?
50,000.
Wow, let's go for all of
I think in the
it.
past, we've only gotten like.
Because I need a new pair of boots.
Yeah, there's only 115,000 available. Maximum grant is 50,000. So
Okay.
that's what it says here.
I wouldn't cuss that, but,
Wow.
I could call, like Craig always refers to Cedarburg. I could call them and see who wrote theirs and,
There are consultants, there are firms in this state, and I could probably drum up the list I had once of, they come in, if you wanted to get a property designated historic for like the state registry or the national registry, they will do all that work. And I think they would do similar work with these types of projects.
Okay.
They're kind of like archaeological or like historical consultants that
you can't imagine how wacky these people were. So cool. They were putting all these things on the screen with all these drawings similar to Craig's awning ideas, like we don't want this, we do want this. The more pictures, the better. It was just super interesting, and if we're gonna have it, we should have the best we can have, I think.
Sure, I agree.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to sideline.
No, it's,
I had a very fun day. It was very fun.
So we need a motion to set that.
I don't believe so. Kathy Lee, are you going to do the contact?
I'll do the Wisconsin, whatever he said, and I have it
Okay.
written down. And then when it comes in, if I'm struggling with it, I'll call you guys.
Okay.
I do them for Rotary a lot, so I think it'll be all right.
Okay, thank you. Well, back to the guidelines then. I don't know exactly where we left off or if there's something that somebody really wants to look into. Craig, did you have any thing in particular you wanted to look at?
You know, at this point, when the manual was crafted, most of our signs at that point were flush mount signs, storefront signs. So now with the vinyl getting, you know, it's so much easier to do. We're getting more window signs and we're getting more projecting signs. So I think if anything, concentrating on the projecting sign part, and
Okay.
It'd be nice if we could do more, maybe have more examples of good projecting signs, and how they're. I think the next step is how can we illuminate signs without it getting to be like the internal cabinet type thing. But I don't know if it's in this document. There was a sign in Galena on a business called Capizio, and they had two gooseneck signs lighting it. A lot of times when you see people light their signs, they just put a floodlight on it. So there's also a lot of new stuff that's coming out. The rope lighting neon is much more effective, where you can do some things internally without it being an internally lit sign. So as the price comes down, it makes it more affordable for the average person to do it. I think you'll see more creative signs being,
Okay.
being put in the downtown. So as we travel, we all have, almost all of us have cell phones, taking a picture of that, and just send it to Adam or myself, and we can start adding and creating databases. Same thing with like murals. You see a cool mural, take a picture of it, send it, and we can add it to, I think on the Downtown Ripon Facebook page, there's a page for mural designs. So,
Okay.
Well, they recommended putting that kind of stuff together, even if it's not a guideline, but just to have those pictures and things with Sue. So when they come in and she says, you have to pass these certain whatevers, she can give them examples.
Okay.
Cool.
and if you're on the downtown website, underneath the About Us, there's a tab called Renovation Assistance. On that renovation assistance, there's, at the bottom of the page, there's a couple bullet points for signs, and it refers to the design manual. But at the bottom, there's a hyperlinked page called View Sign Gallery, and that has,
Oh, wow. So we already have this.
and I don't have the internet connected, but
Okay. So it was Ripon's site and then About Us and then what was
yeah,
the
so
chapter?
if you go to, it should be the About Us tab, Renovation Assistance,
Okay.
okay? And then when you're on the Renovation Assistance page, it has the guidelines and some of that.
Was that something we're going to consider?
The what?
The new, like a new page for new styles, or?
Yeah.
We really do need to up our game.
Yeah.
We've got so much going on in our downtown. Like Sarah said, 2 years ago, who would have believed all this? So I think so, but I'm not the voice of this commission.
I wonder if we can just copy
Add it.
this page and just link it to the city site. It's relatively generic, it just says Ripon, Wisconsin.
I don't know.
And we can update some of the pictures too, but.
Do you know how to do stuff like that? I don't. I'm a loser. I
Yeah,
cannot-
well,
I am.
yeah, the city website is going to be redeveloped.
Yeah, we're
Or
working on
there's
it.
an RFP out for it. And between it wouldn't be that difficult to create a hyperlink on one of the pages.
Yeah, we could do
That's what
that.
I was wondering, it would be just added on?
We can add it on, but we would still have to beef it up. You know, like, not just add this, but go through this and figure out,
Where
you
it
know,
fits in.
yeah.
'Cause it might fit in a little bit differently.
It might be
because of the
perfect,
new
I don't know.
Sophisticated looks that it is, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, do we want to keep going through the sign ordinance and continue on with that then? Or do we want to wait until we know we have a grant coming? I think we should keep,
Yeah, we
just go
should
through, read
carry on.
everything. If we find something, okay. So I don't know where we left off again. If somebody can help me with that. I know we were at projecting signs.
Yeah.
We did pass the honors, and then we did,
Letters, lighting. Possibly it was right in,
I think we were at letters.
at letters.
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I didn't have this, but I think it was letters.
that would be page 30 we're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if we've had any chance to read that, I mean, it gives like letters 50% of maximum of the height of the signboard. I think a lot of it is layout and more or less common sense on how it's going to look on your window and on your signboard.
Well, it speaks a lot about color in this paragraph, and I'm not so sure we should have anything to do with that based on people building a brand and having an image or logo that they're following.
Right. We talked about that we weren't going to really
Enforce.
have any control or enforcement on the color.
Because it says, choose a color that complements your building.
Yeah.
I don't know if that should still be in there.
Yeah, it was a vague paragraph intentionally.
Oh,
So, and I think where it talks about light letters on a dark background, I think that's probably the most
That's what we would
that you
put
want to guide. Light letters would just show up much better on a dark background.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Okay.
The other thing that we touched on at the last meeting that I wasn't able to locate is clarifying in the ordinance whether we can, I thought there was something in the ordinance that said if you have a projecting sign, you cannot have any other type of signage on your building. And I think what we've been doing recently is tasteful and combining a projecting sign with whether it's vinyl lettering windows or a sign above the front. I think when this ordinance and the sign ordinance was created, we didn't really understand how different signs are utilized. So the projecting sign is more for the pedestrian walking up the street. The sign on the storefront is more for the vehicle driving up the street. And even though it's costly, you need both to be effective.
So which one, projecting is driving and the other one's walking?
Projecting is I think geared toward the pedestrian traffic. So as you're walking up the street, you can see that there's, they call it a blade sign sometimes.
Okay.
That's a right angle out from the
Sorry.
building.
Carry on.
Yep.
To your point, Craig, if you guys can envision Opportunity Corner, our entrance door isn't called out very well. And at least once a day, people will walk right by it, they'll go to the curb with the big awning and assume that that's where the door is, and then they'll come back laughing, we missed your door. I could probably benefit from a projecting sign for that pedestrian traffic. But just haven't made it a priority yet.
Right.
I like to watch the customers get confused, then chuckle inside and warm.
It is true, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it.
Well, it used to be over there,
It used to be over there.
but
They were
only
serving sandwiches.
old people would know that.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is laid out.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I think you're spot on with that. There's different uses for signs that I don't think I would have been that aware of before this situation.
Right. And we weren't doing that many projecting signs until just recently.
Yeah.
So I think if, maybe it's not in the ordinance, but I'm almost positive it's in there someplace. We wanna
So,
make sure
so,
it's
so just to be, there's a couple things here. So when you're looking at the ordinance, you have your business and industrial districts for signage, and it has, central business district, 45 feet, 10 feet setback, whatever. And then you get the wall signs, so it talks about wall signs, roof signs, canopies and awnings, column and mounted, and then projecting signs. Number, 1 projecting sign may be permitted for each parcel provided no ground sign is located on the property.
What's a ground sign?
Like a
That's what
sandwich
I'd like to-
board?
A what, a ground
No,
sign?
I'm thinking a ground sign is
Vegetable.
referring to a sign on the building, right?
An A-frame billboard?
I don't know.
Let me look and see if there's a
Is there a
definition.
definition?
Yeah, if there's a
A ground
definition.
sign. I'm sure it'll be very clear.
Yeah, it's gonna,
No, it won't.
There's no ground sign.
Well, if it is a sign on the building, then we have lots of businesses that are,
Non-compliant.
We would have
right, and
to,
I,
right?
right.
we would have to change that.
And if it is, if it does mean like a sandwich sign, once again, there's a lot of businesses that are non-compliant. So I think we just want to clean this stuff up.
Right.
Because what we're doing works.
That's exactly it.
And we want to
Yeah.
kind of, not that we want to bend the rules, we want to make our code reflect the character of our community.
So then it says, same thing, projecting maximum signage area, no projecting sign shall exceed 9 square feet in the area of the B1 district. So that's the central business district is B1. So you have that standard, then you have a code for the central business district.
Oh,
Okay, so there are 2 areas you have to look, so it's already confusing. And that area talks about total signage area, corner lots, and then this commission and all that it does with the manual and getting permission. And then it talks about prohibited signs, canopies, awnings, and minimum clearance. So technically or theoretically, you could change the ordinance to remove the B1 Central Business District from that other sign area, or that code above, and just defer to the Central Business District for you all, which then kicks back to your design manual mostly.
could be the cleanest way to do it. Can I just ask, when I was skimming quickly on the projectile signage, it also said that a business may not illuminate projectile.
She can see that.
Shall not directly illuminated. Shall not be there.
Projecting signs shall not be directly illuminated.
Yeah, and I think we want to, we want to change that. So the verbiage was created to phase out like the old beer signs and that kind of stuff where they were putting big box signs on. So there was some verbiage about internally versus externally lit signs. And that externally lit were okay, because in theory, then you could do the goosenecks.
Right.
But now with some of this kind of stuff that's being created, or if you do a cutout and you put the rope lighting inside of it,
Yeah.
that's not really that old-fashioned box type sign that's internally lit. So I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
there's other communities that have better verbiage than we
Yeah.
do.
Well, we could somehow maybe do it, approve it upon content of the sign. I mean, we don't want a guy with a beer mug, I know exactly what you're saying, right next to Sarah's.
Yeah.
And I'm not against a tavern, don't get me wrong, but, we would have some choice in, or say in that hanging sign that might be lighted. Does Tall Paul still have that?
Yeah.
I thought
and
so.
that's-
I was just trying to think of that.
Yeah, when the sign ordinance was adopted, all of those signs were grandfathered,
Okay.
and I think that's the last one.
Mhm.
Because I think Fox River Gloves came down. And and now it's so old, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is, I know,
Yeah.
but,
We have to think about sign pollution if we start doing lighting on signs, because that can get a little messy. I didn't know we could do lighted signs, lit signs.
so that's something we're going to have to look into. I mean, have a good discussion on lighted, internally lit signs. Now, externally is fine, yeah, correct? With
Yeah.
a, like you said, a gooseneck, or like Sarah has spotlights going up.
That's just on the building, it's not.
Right, it's not on a sign, but could somebody put a spotlight down lower and sign up, or shine up on their sign? I don't know, I don't have that answer, you know.
And maybe that's where variances can be used. So if somebody wants to do an internally lit sign, then it comes here and you look to see whether it's acceptable, and it's not like the franchise kind of thing, like you see on strip centers where they just put a box up.
Can we do that? Do we have the authority to do that? To be that,
Oh, to be the, I think if you sort of clean up the code to say everything in the central business district goes to this board based on the historic design guidelines, you then can do whatever you want in the historic design guidelines and basically you can have standards or ideas.
right,
But you can also then say, well, you know, you can also buy yourself that leeway in the guidelines. You know, almost like every single sign is a variance, frankly, you know?
Right.
It almost would be treated that way in the central business district.
okay.
I don't know if we'll have to look at the ordinance, but just so, because these things just seem contradictory, like you got one section, then you have another section, then you have this whole guideline, and does the guideline meet the code?
It should be consistent,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just not easy to follow, so, and that's why, frankly, that's why I think like the 9 square feet thing was missed, because that's not in the central business district.
Right.
That's above it, you know, in the code. So, so I think, yes, I think we can definitely clean that up and then have the design guidelines by that.
Have that, yes.
By that leeway or that flexibility to allow that.
Okay.
You know, if it is the appropriate fit.
Yeah, I'd like to see something like that, for sure. So we were just talking on lighting. I'm reading through the guidelines for the lighting. And that's kind of like Kathy Lee, you touched on, you know, sign pollution with the lights on the signs.
Because we're going to get someone who wants neon.
Well, in an old-fashioned neon sign would be cool.
Yeah, it would.
Costly.
Honestly,
Yeah.
and just to even run it. So many more watts expand.
It's just also subjective.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it's worded is just,
Well, I was,
it's outdated, all of it.
yeah.
It's tough because to Craig's point, we want to encourage all the positive things that are happening with our business district. We want to support businesses and entrepreneurial advancements. It's hard to have all of these guidelines.
I know.
And
I
they're
was
not,
thinking the same
they're
thing.
not permanent.
Correct.
They come and go.
They do.
Yeah,
So that's
right, because when I, like
leniencies.
Craig said, back in 1993, when we bought our store, it was the signboard. You had 16 feet of
Sure.
transom above it, and that was the
That's it.
sign.
Yep.
Now it's projecting, and it's more window graphics, and It's
Sarah
evolved.
knows as well as I do, you've been to Nashville a lot, and it's just, that just keeps coming to me. I'm just thinking, you know, because when I'm there, I don't drink, but it's like looking, and I'm looking at all the stuff that's in there. And that fascinates it.
Right.
I mean, you become part of the electricity just because of everything else. But the lighting is what's incredible to me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
We're not Nashville yet, though.
We're not
That'd be
quite
nice.
Nashville yet, but we could be.
But I think for me, just reading through the way that all of this is written and outlined, you know, I might have a sense for something that I think is tasteful or going to make sense for my business. But there are certain categories in here that I don't have a perspective on, and it's nice to have those guidelines for me. Just because lettering and lighting might be obvious to me, and it's going to be obvious to someone who's opening up a shop in a totally different place. Is providing this. Let's just, I guess, make it as inclusive as possible without being so overwhelming and vague that none of us know what we're doing.
Yeah, keep
Yeah,
it simple.
It's confusing.
It is.
It's,
Well, for people that are trying to make a decision, it could be real confusing. And then they become like, ooh, we got all these rules and regulations.
And the decisions are expensive, you know, I'm just speaking from personal
Yeah.
current experience. All of these choices that I'm making with this 209 building, whew, money flies through your fingers quickly, and it's scary sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't want to make the wrong choice, and I'm a pretty confident design-eyed type of gal. So think of those people that don't have, you know, this will be a wonderful opportunity for them to have some guidance.
So how did we say that? It's kind of fluid. What was the word you guys used? We wanted to include the verbiage to be wide open. What'd you say? Can't remember.
I don't remember.
Maybe a little more organic, Kathy Lee.
Okay.
The one thing that's not covered in the sign ordinance that's relatively newer is the digital billboards, whether it's the scrolling
Yeah.
thing. That's something that we should also be addressing.
I'm not so
Yeah.
crazy about that.
well, that would be like in the guidelines on page 30, do not use flashing, moving, or intermittent lights.
Right.
That would, I would think that would fall into that.
But if it's a
But-
digital kind of thing, I think there are ways to get around it.
Okay.
Like the bank has.
Right. You know, and the bank, that's kind of like a tool that they use to compete with other banks, but we don't have anything downtown right now, and I think we want to keep it that way.
Great.
Were the lights on the old bank, were those, it wasn't even that long ago, I can't remember. I remember we had a meeting about it.
Which one?
The restaurant, the Treasury.
The treasurer.
Okay.
When they came in and had their design and all of that, the only question we had were the neighbors across the street were afraid of the light at night. And they actually were down, not across. And that was the only question that came up on that whole, that was cool, what they had, but once again, it didn't last long.
Yeah. I think as the stuff is, if it's on your building, then it works. When it shines into the windows of your neighbor, that's when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I can see that,
Yes.
I could see somebody coming to us for a permit or permission, and until I would see it on the building, I wouldn't be able to give an answer. So I don't know how we even go about approving something
You almost have to,
without them spending all the money.
you almost have to go, I want to do this, and there's a similar building in this city that does it. You almost
An
need
example.
examples of some of the stuff.
Yeah, you need a reference to it.
Because I don't even know, now Sarah, yours has uplights, and Tammy's
Yeah.
has uplights. Were those things that should have had a permit?
I don't think so.
Okay, just a question, I don't know.
What if they used red bulbs?
Didn't we have uplights on the flagpole at the barbecue place? Is that pole even still there? I don't remember.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
But those were
Yeah.
uplights.
Yeah.
I don't know.
but
I
I
don't
mean,
know
if we're
that was
talking
a question.
lighting, what's our definition? I mean, is the external lights just fine? They don't need a permit? Do we need to issue a?
Yeah, because, the section pertains to signage. And
Yeah.
when you're doing gooseneck lights, they're not always for signage. So those can be architectural. So there's a difference between types of lighting. And I don't know if this really gets into that.
Do you think it should be expanded? Is that what you're saying? Or left more?
I think we need to keep searching other communities and see what they have and see if there's something that we're missing.
I think we need to rewrite it. I think we need somebody,
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's saying in lighting,
Yes.
the 19th century, it's
Yep.
dark, and here it says we must achieve, acceptable standard of lighting. So
I can-
it's like, we're saying, let's put more lighting up there, in the writing.
Yeah, there's
can-
even more
I
on
can
page
check with,
33 about lighting.
About the
Wisconsin
light,
Economic
yeah.
Development Corporation,
Who?
the State Main Street Program,
Oh, yeah.
and see
If
if
they ever-
maybe there's another
Avenue.
visit that we can get.
And that might be a more expedited than waiting till next year. So, and just how, I think the first thing I think we do have to do is tackle the ordinance, because the ordinance is the rule. The ordinance is the law, and if you have to follow that. The ordinance specifies that then there are guidelines here. Guidelines are not laws.
Right.
They are merely,
There's suggestions.
suggestions.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at applications and you're looking at things, having the guidelines dialed in, just the fact that it's a guideline builds you in, I think, the flexibility you need to approve something that may not be explicitly written like this. But Billy just talked about lighting. There's a section right there on lighting, and, dimly lit, making sure that the historical setting and character of the building the lights that I see are like that. I think but that's for signage, it says, but it's, is that a sign? I don't know. So I think that's where rewriting the whole thing is gonna be critical, and that's a bigger thing than changing the ordinance language a little bit, so.
One of the points that they made in this thing I was listening to is that there are no, what do you call, copyrights. You can look at anybody's design guideline, you can copy it. There's no rules. If you don't have in yours, or you don't have one at all, you can take a look and adapt it to your town.
And that's kind of like what this design manual is. It was, the National Main Street Program had their base, and then we took Milwaukee and
I see.
Chippewa Falls and a bunch of other communities and started to take the best of them. But since then, I think maybe 2 years ago, the Main Street America redid their guidelines, so, and I haven't had a chance to even look at them. Maybe it's something maybe there's something more relevant in there that we need to incorporate too.
So Main Street has their own design guidelines?
Yeah, it's through what they call Main Street America, which is the
Corporation.
the corporate, yeah. Is there a Wi-Fi? What is it?
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Okay,
I'll give it to you.
maybe you can shoot that over to me.
I don't want people stealing it.
Right.
Okay, materials.
Yes.
This is quite scary.
Cool, thank you.
I can see the first one on the guidelines, use painted wood where practicable. I don't know how many people are even using wood on the outside of their buildings anymore.
Yeah.
Especially around the windows, you
Yeah.
can't.
What?
I can't read your writing. Jeez. Are there spaces?
No, sorry. All lowercase.
Okay, maybe.
Do you need me to rewrite it?
I think
Let me
so.
see.
What is that? Is that an L? T?
There you, yeah, you are. Not anymore.
Oh!
You got it.
Jeez.
That's what it is.
Okay.
I'm like, that word is spelled wrong.
When the guideline was sporting brackets, do they have to be black?
Right. I was just reading that one thinking that's kind of bossy.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's just the way it,
This
yeah.
right
The
here.
metal brackets.
Yeah.
Says these things need to be.
I'm a metal guy,
Oh.
and everything is, I do, yeah, it's black, pretty much.
But imagine, I don't know,
But-
a pastry shop goes in and their whole look is white.
But if it's aluminum bracket, which we have aluminum brackets, it would be a sin to paint them black. Unless it's aluminum. I don't know if the color,
I don't know how to silence it.
I
the
think
supporting
Very
brackets really need to
specific.
be,
The whole paragraph is very.
Yeah, I know,
that's just a question.
it just says modern materials that simulate wood may be acceptable. Well, they are acceptable.
Yeah,
you know.
they're actually preferred now.
Yeah, they're preferred, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, it's more preferred, it's almost like
Yeah.
required. Unless you want to do it again 10 years from now.
Yeah, or 5.
Well, with today, you know,
Yeah.
that was just kind of, I thought, okay.
Yeah, we could, should be metal.
I think period.
I think just
Period,
metal,
yes.
period, just eliminate.
I agree, yeah.
I already blocked that out anyway.
Because I know what you're saying, Sarah, white would, it would look tasteful.
Well, it might be a female's choice over a male's choice, being black, metal, simple, where a woman might really have a whole different, I don't know.
I'm not going there, Billy.
Oh, what you're saying, Bill.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Better watch it.
That's right, it's a unit world now.
Yeah.
We're all one, I forget that. Okay. But yeah, we shouldn't tell them what colors can be.
Correct.
Maybe white should be painted pink or something, but
How about this coordination of signs?
Yeah, I don't know how much that even relates to buildings now.
I think it's out.
I think we omitted, I'm not sure it's relevant anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if somebody would have a little shop and,
They're not gonna make their signage look like,
correct, because it already says one projecting sign per building anyways, and
Right.
so, yeah, I think that should just
take that
be
out.
taken out.
I think it's just an antiquated.
Yeah.
Let's take your bra off.
Yeah, and then those guidelines are out anyways, below that.
You know, I'm not certain if you want to. If you have like a business that's, I know we don't have a lot of antique malls, but if you have, there are businesses that, there's 3 or 4 businesses in a building, and not everyone should have a sign. You could end up having, I don't know, I wonder if that needs to be reworked rather than eliminated.
How is our guideline? I'm not sure in my brain I understand how our words in a paragraph could help that situation. Because it's so subjective.
I would think if there's 2 different businesses in one store, they're going to be similar to begin with, and you just have this is mine for sale, and this is yours, Sarah, over here, and it's just all, they don't have to advertise. Once the person's in the store, they just shop.
Or Craig, is your example a little bit more differentiated where you might have Jasper's Mercantile in the same space as Funk's Dry Goods, and they're both, I
Yeah,
don't know, retro-looking goods, but they share a space, and you want their signage to look somewhat cohesive? Is that kind of what you mean?
yeah, and not everybody can have their sign be a dominant sign on the building. So then they have to be,
Has Ripon had any examples like this that our brands can
Well,
visualize?
I think what we're talking about is like big box, you know, like they have stores that they're the biggest stores and they draw everybody in, like in Appleton. They have Macy's, Target, but Talbot's and a couple other places are there too, but their names aren't off the street. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, sort of, yeah.
It
So
kinda
it's-
like pares
It's
down.
Fox River Mall, that's the name
Yeah.
of the business. And not, all those 100 other businesses can't have their name on the exterior of
Right.
the sign.
Yeah.
So it could be that there's, one person is a massage therapist, another person is does facials, another person does nails. You can't, when you have that collaboration, it's good to have collaboration because it makes it more affordable to be in business,
Sure.
but you just can't, the signage, this was getting toward how to address that kind of situation versus everybody trying to put a big sign in the building so that they know that John Smith is in the building and so is, Jane Smith. And
Maybe we should check other towns.
we can.
And really what we're talking about is multiple tenant buildings only.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't be coordination of signs for the whole town.
Craig, how is that, where Parks Law Office is? There's like different suites there.
Yeah.
How is that signage? I mean, I know that,
they've never really, they had a projecting sign at one time, but I don't think they've really utilized it. But that could be like this kind of billboard approach where you have, it's like this, and this are in there, and it's like just this
just a list of,
big blob of
Yeah.
letters and a sign trying to get people to go into the basement. The best approach is to call that, like the cold storage building, and that you're in the cold storage building, rather than everybody wanting their name.
correct, yeah.
And then as you enter the lobby or whatever, that's when it would break down further. Yeah.
Right.
If you're inside, yeah.
Okay, so then let's not delete it, let's rewrite it for
We'll
next
just-
time.
Yeah,
And
let's,
we have to rename it to,
there is
a
I
good
did-
point.
I did come across Main Street America has a design handbook. So let's take a look at this too and see if there's things that we should eliminate or add.
This is a little harder than I thought.
A lot harder than I thought.
It's going to take forever.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, there's that, Adam's got that right there.
So, yeah, and
Yeah, they have that finger pointing down, don't they?
Yeah, and I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything here anymore, but, and this is the reason why, you don't necessarily want these two signs and all these three signs looking dramatically different, right? That's the
Right.
whole, and then
And
again.
in the lower level of that building, there's 3 or 4 additional businesses.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it is a challenge to be recognized and for customers or visitors to know where you're located, but and I'm pretty certain this is what we need to try to address that type of situation.
It'd be a whole lot easier just to eliminate it. Oh.
Oops, me.
Oh, crap, I can't do that.
Well, on page 32 then, it has installation. And that's fine, I mean, we don't like a high turnover anymore. I don't think we have much of a turnover. I mean, hopefully we don't get to that again, but
Yeah, I think the most important thing with this is that last sentence is not drilling into the brick. If you're going to drill into something, drilling into the mortar, because it's easier to replace the mortar
Yeah.
than it is to replace the brick.
this is a dumb question.
Never drill holes in stone or brick.
Do the two sign companies in Ripon, do they do the install of the brackets? Or who does,
Well, for a while, I think Polish was doing the installs for graphic.
okay,
But to be honest, it's been a few years, so I'm not certain.
don't really, yeah, okay.
Adam does it if you buy it from him, those clings and, oh, it's super cool because you don't have to worry about getting it straight. He's just spot on.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't know about the other graphics person. I know there's a need for it though, because they need a sign outside of the Historical Society, and Steve's been trying to find somebody forever.
Oops, sorry about that.
So next, we're at the sign ordinance. And that's where we always rely on Building Inspector Susan Leahy on the size and things like that, which is good. I mean, she's very good at what she does.
And I think what we need to do now that it's easier to hyperlink things, this needs to have a hyperlink to the ordinance.
Yes.
That way we're the commission isn't the bad guy. If something is missed, it's not us misleading them.
The other thing would be, well, we just got to be careful. Yeah. Because you do want to set some minimum hard rules. Whether it's in the ordinance or in here, you know.
They're required, yeah.
Because so
Because this must be some sort of synopsis of the sign ordinance.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
There's only 4 paragraphs.
Yeah, and I mean 1984 National Electric Code. I think the code was updated in
Oh, yeah, it's like
2012 or something.
Now it's with the IBC or something.
Yep.
Maybe Sue can help us with that part of it.
There's your section on lighting. There is one.
Do we need to up the permit cost?
I really think you just remove the sign ordinance language here.
Okay,
You just link it and just don't even touch it. Don't even,
just leave it in the
link it
city
to-
ordinance
yep,
part. Okay,
yep.
So we made it all together, huh?
yeah.
Because you're talking about the sign ordinance. The sign ordinance says for central business district, look at the guidelines. You know, like,
Yeah.
it-
So that sign ordinance would also include the dangerous or abandoned signs. So we're gonna,
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of, I think, just a general,
Yeah.
a general rule. There's like illegal signs, dangerous signs, all that. So,
And I think there's also, with the sign ordinance, there's a section, or there's a verbiage that says signs must be removed within, I don't know if it's 3 months or if it's 6 months. So once you've gone out of business, You can't just leave your sign there.
I got it, yeah.
So that might be something to make sure that we do have that reference handy.
Wouldn't it look better than just empty, though?
It's false advertising though at that point.
Yeah, and I think it's, once a business has gone out of business, it's better, it makes the district look bad.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, I got it.
So the lighting then, are we all on board? We're going to just delete the sign ordinance then?
Well, put a hyperlink in.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, okay,
one less to deal with.
right. So we can go to that lighting then on the facade of the building.
So this one says 6 months. They have 6 months to remove.
It should be tastefully done. Well,
6 months, not 3.
Again, if we're gonna get that, it just shows the
right.
taste.
This is important because when you go down at night or early morning or something, if the lights are on.
Craig, with our cafe lights across Watson, did you hear of any kickback from anybody grumbling about just the lighting element of it being too bright? Did we have any trouble like that?
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Mm-mm, I haven't either.
Because that's pretty major. I mean, that's more major than a storefront doing facade lighting.
Right, and that's something different that, as 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Right. I've told a couple people already, they were just chronic complainers about everything. I said, just stand in front of City Hall at night and look down Watson.
It's pretty cool.
It's cool. It is. It's nice. And so whether that satisfied them or not, I don't know, but probably not.
Craig, did you get a certificate of appropriateness for that?
Actually, we did,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Adam was just trying
You
to.
did?
I don't
I don't remember that.
I remember.
Really?
Craig's a rule follower.
Must have been before I was on board.
Yeah, when was that?
I bet we didn't.
You didn't.
I don't think.
It was for the pergolas that we got,
Yes, the pergola you did.
yeah,
You got permission though.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a hell of a fine, though.
Yeah.
Lashes with a wet noodle. Yeah.
But don't you guys think with sections like this, that's so subjective, we say that lighting is a lovely thing, and then we go right into the next sentence, which is, it can also create visual chaos, like we're
Yeah.
all over the fence. Why don't we just give some really nice, simple guidelines and some beautiful examples of tasteful lighting?
Right, without all the verbiage of, like you're saying,
All the
yeah,
Warnings.
right.
Yeah, that's waste energy, create safety.
You almost just need the guidelines and not the whole commentary.
Maybe that's it, we don't need
Yeah.
a commentary.
Well, we could
That
put
would, that's good,
those
yeah.
Yeah.
in again.
So page 34, pedestrian orientated design. I have to read that because I don't quite understand what they're going for.
Oriented design.
Yeah, I think this section
Completely, yeah.
was written when places like the American House, where they were eliminating storefront entrances and just going to like one thing.
Okay.
And then you lose when you create like one massive storefront, and it's kind of like this is when downtown malls were like kind of, people were trying to compete with what was happening on the strips. So you want those individual storefronts that creates a pedestrian scale, rather than having a long expanse and you just kind of, it loses its charm.
Yeah, okay.
So there's two things. One is called scale, the other one's called ornamentation, and Victorian buildings had both. Especially the Italianate buildings, the height of the first floor was pretty much uniform from building to building. The windows, the kick plates were all about the same size. So that repetition just creates, I don't know, maybe I'm too much indoctrinated into this kind of thing, but it creates an inviting atmosphere for people to walk up the street. Once you start to eliminate things, especially if it's eliminating a building, then it changes the way somebody feels psychologically as they're walking up a space.
Just like losing a tree in your yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your landscape's changed.
Well, yeah, right. Instead of going into 10 different buildings, you're only going into 2.
Right.
And you feel like you're done or whatever,
Yeah, especially when you take out a building and you put it in a parking lot, then now you have that void, and a lot of times people tend not to walk past the parking lot, they cross the street. We're kind of seeing some of that taking place where it's hard enough to get somebody to walk from one block to another block. So we just need to keep working on as we fix up a building, its ornamentation is usually enhanced. It's hard to explain, but
yeah.
I think we're making progress. Now we just have to figure out how to connect some of those things and bridge the intersections and that kind of stuff with just either more attractive.
But wait, there's more. You see that when you're buying pots and pans on TV. Yeah, I think it's, what you're saying is right.
There might be a better way of saying this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Can I make a motion that we call it quits for tonight and start again?
I'll second.
Absolutely. Motion on the floor to call it quits tonight by Kathy Lee, second by Sarah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Are we done with that page?
I think we should go to the pedestrian access
This is where we
next
left
month.
off.
For next
So
week.
remember where we left off?
Yeah.
For the next one.
So, thank you for everybody to go through that. It's sometimes painful.
Not really.
Items for next agenda, I think we'll just keep on with the design guidelines.
I'll see if I can draft up some changes to the sign ordinance.
Okay.
And then maybe if it works, we can run it through here, then to the council. If it won't be a huge priority of mine, but I'll see if I can get around to it.
Okay.
I'll forward the Main Street America design standards. Also, I don't know if you saw that Preservation Month is May.
Yeah, I saw
So-
that, yeah.
You're supposed to give high fives, didn't you say?
Hmm?
Didn't your email say give high fives to others that are design-minded and historically minded?
Absolutely.
I watched out the window today and say baby. You have to lead us, Craig.
May
I'll try.
3rd would be our next meeting date.
May 3rd,
Yeah,
thank you. May 3rd.
at 6:30.
Just going back to the items for next agenda, I just want everybody to think, and I don't even have to put it on the agenda, but think of possible new members, possibly. And we do have to check our, what's the word, like when our term is up. I don't know, I haven't checked that lately, when people's terms are up, if we renew them or do we just carry on?
Was it 9 years? Was it 6 years? Does anybody, do we know?
I don't
That
remember.
are up, I think, are in August,
Okay,
and it's Terry and Kathy Lee.
How long
Okay.
of a term did we all sign up for?
That's
it's
what
a
I'm
couple
saying.
years, 2 or 3 years, I think.
We'll have to double check to see how many terms, because there is a limit of either 2 or 3 terms.
I have to
So
be,
somebody might be up and they can't be on again. So
Well, how long do you have to be off?
1 year.
1 year, yeah, because I've been on this 3 different,
I was gonna say,
The council is different.
oh,
So
okay.
there, you have to run for city council then after you
To
finish.
stay on forever, you can run for council.
can't do that.
Maybe 2 people to add to the list. I wonder if, he doesn't live in town, Ken Schmick, the person who did all the tuck pointing and he's, did the nice apartments.
Yes. How do you spell his last name, do you know?
SCHMICK,
CK, okay.
and he's with Homestead Builders. And then the other person would be maybe Daniel Volkman, who, Daniel owns the buildings from 311, where Fiddler Creek is, down to the chiropractor business at 319.
What was his name again?
That's Daniel Volkman.
Okay.
Isn't he on Main Street with us?
No, Daniel's not.
Who's it?
He's on
who's the
bid, isn't
gentleman that came to Mapes the last meeting? Like a red stocking cap and who's that?
Hmm.
Is that on the end?
He's on the bid board.
Oh,
It's on the bid board,
that
too.
was Matt Grigett.
Who's that? Who's he?
Matt owns the building where Adrian, or American Alchemy,
Oh,
and,
that's why I have those two confused.
yeah, and he's from Princeton.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, one more thing.
Sure.
I'm having a hard time finding contractors that remove paint from buildings. I don't know if any of you know of anybody.
Remove what?
Remove paint, yeah, so it used to be like Mike Lister did stuff years ago. I'm not certain if Mike is still in business in Oshkosh.
Like the exterior of,
Yeah. Ken has expressed interest in removing the gray paint from the outside of where he bought the,
Red, next to red.
not that one, but he bought where Saul's have their ice cream parlor and Hair Today. The previous owners painted the brick gray, and he'd like to bring it back to Cream City brick. I'm just having a hard time finding a contractor.
Could it get soda blasted or would it work?
Soda blasting would hurt the brick.
It starts to absorb water.
Yeah.
yeah, is that Bolton Brothers, they don't do?
There's another guy that does walnut blasting.
Yeah. You want to do a chemical strip is the best approach.
Yeah,
And-
I checked into that too. You can put it on and just let it go.
Yeah. Then you have to catch it in straw before it gets into the storm sewer and,
Right, especially on Main Street. Yeah.
yeah. But if we could find somebody, the only one that I've, RJ Jacques out of Green Bay, I think is the name of the company. But there has to be somebody closer who does that kind of stuff. I'm just not coming across anybody.
Okay.
Never thought.
I'll listen around.
Okay, well, we need a motion to adjourn. Anybody make a motion?
need a permit?
Motion by Sarah,
A second.
second by Billy for adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
It's just that
We are
I know
adjourned.
A couple crazy guys in Princeton that probably do it.